Here is the first ball of this last over of the day. Runs for the West Indies. Alan Border, the fielder.
That's the end of the day's play. 1 over survived by Greenwich. He and Haynes march off. The West Indies are 2 without loss, on their way to get a massive 455 if they're to win this match. Australia have 2 days to build them out.
And here's Terry Alderman now bowling the first over of this fourth morning. And there's a good start for the West Indies. Runs from the very first ball.
Been very prolific.
To Haynes. Just over his head. A taller man might have managed to bring it down. Just over David Boone's head. He's just been placed there at mid-wicket. And Haynes gets 3 with what really was a quite loose shot.
Mark Waugh or Peter Taylor or somebody like that may have been able to get the hands to it. David Boone, a very, very good attempt. Almost got the fingers to it. Desmond Haynes. A cavalier shot this time of the day, particularly as the fieldsman just been moved back in there. Would have been the sort of breakthrough that Australia were looking for, but Des Haynes is still there.
Lovely shot by Haynes. 1 goal the way. Taylor is down there.
Desmond Haynes has been a very good player for the West Indies over a long period of time. 1977-78 he made his debut in Port of Spain. Since then he's played 97 test matches, 168 innings. He's made over 6,000 runs at a very good average of 42, 1600s and 33 other 50s. He's got a higher score of 184 versus England at Lord's.
Well, this will go all the way this time. Taylor can't get around. So Haynes very strong off the legs, and he's been very positive from the very start today.
No doubt that the West Indies have in mind some positive batting this morning. Desmond Haynes very strong on the leg side. He didn't get the middle of the bat on that one, so it just gives you an indication of how fast the outfield is.
Alderman now to Greenwich. Greenwich yet to score a run at the age of 40. And he still doesn't have one. That's a leg by. Had 2 on Monday afternoon in the only over he faced from Craig McDermott.
The 148 times there. These two have opened the batting. 15 100 partnerships they've had. Very good record. West Indies will be relying on them, getting them away to a good start again here today. A pretty good shout. Still a little bit of movement there for Terry Alderman. Desmond Haynes not very far forward. Ball pitching in line with the stumps, just straightening up a little bit. He's not very far in front of that line. That's a pretty good appeal, that one.
It'll go all the way down to mid-wicket, slightly uppish, but 4 runs all the same, and the West Indies are no wicket for 26.
Just to give you an indication of how successful Greenwich and Haynes have been for the West Indies. In first wicket partnerships for the West Indies versus Australia of over 100. You can see that Greenwich and Haynes feature very prominently. They have the highest opening partnership of 250 not out, also the second highest of 162. Then Conrad Hunt and Brian Davis chip in there, 145. Then it's all Greenwich and Haynes.
Well, that's the second shot Oldham has had this morning. Seemed pretty sure of that one as well. Umpire Bucknor.
These were the sort of shouts that were getting a raised finger in England in '89. But again, Desmond Haynes is a fair way down the wicket. Buckner obviously giving him the benefit of the doubt because of the distance the ball still has to travel from where it's hit Desmond Haynes on the front foot to hit the stumps.
That's the in-swinging Yorker, which has troubled Desmond Haynes so much in this series. I've noticed this morning, though, Desmond seems to be playing the Yorker a lot straighter. He's trying to hit it, as he did on that occasion, straight down the ground rather than through mid-wicket. Over mid-on.
Yes, this is a lofted on drive there by Gordon Greenwich, just over the head of mid-on. Very positive looking shot. Rocketed to the boundary for 4. And the West Indies making a bold effort here. Still a long way to go.
I think you've just seen a couple of good reasons there why the West Indies are so dangerous in a run chase like this, because they're quite happy to go on playing their natural game. If it comes off, it's dangerous. Well, the West Indies openers have forced a change here. Merv Hughes coming on to replace Craig McDermott. McDermott having 6 overs for 24. So just talking, Clive, about the fact that the West Indies are prepared to go on playing their natural game in this sort of situation. What that does, firstly it tells the opposition we're not overawed by this target. Boundaries coming thick and fast at the moment. The other thing it does, it makes the opposition captain, he's got to work very hard. He's got to think about saving runs as well as taking wickets. So it means that he can't go on the all-out attack.
Yes, I think you've got to be positive. You don't want to be bogged down. It's a very fast outfield, very small ground. And the West Indians have made nearly 500 runs in this tour already. And they've batted quite well in the second innings of most games. So I think that they want to carry the fight to Australia.
Gordon doesn't always need half volleys, and that brings up the 50.
Yes, this is a lofted off drive here by Gordon Greenwich. And the point about Terry Alderman, if he's not swinging the ball, he's sort of fairly ordinary at times, but his style depends on the ball moving around. And today there's no wind, hardly any wind, it's very humid, so he's not as dangerous as he normally is.
That brings the target down under 400.
Well, there he is. Christmas has come early for the West Indies. Straight drive here by Gordon Greenwich for 6. Very confident looking shot.
Four to the moment it left the bat.
Very good shot this from Desmond Haynes. A slight hint of away movement there for Merv Hughes, but beautifully stroked through the offside.
That was a fine shot. It wasn't all that short. Greenwich was onto it in a flash. It's no wicket for 71. That's a really good shot. Beautiful drive through extra cover.
That's reminiscent of some of the strokes he played in Sydney when he had that very good innings on a turning wicket.
Now the pattern needs to be Hughes to continue bowling as he did the last over, which will put pressure on the batsman, and then Taylor to continue to bowl accurately from the southern end. They need to put a break on the scoring. Not just a question of going out there and trying to take wickets. They've got to keep the batsmen tied down. So far they've made 76 from just 20 overs, so it's a terrific striking rate. And Hughes is the key man here to keep bowling that line and length. Oh! What? Would you believe it? The first wicket goes down. Pure chance or mischance. That is extremely bad for Desmond Haynes. I don't know if he was trying to change hands with the bat, Michael, but it wasn't all that hard a hit.
Well, apparently he thought the ball would have missed the stump, Richie, because he obviously did see the ball hit his hand, and he was on his way towards Gordon Greenwich thinking about a single, so he possibly thought the ball would not have hit the stump. But the West Indies lose their first wicket, unfortunately, but it's 1 for 76.
Richie Richardson is the new batsman, and he's there because Haynes was run out.
In fact, it looked to be a fairly casual bit of fielding from Merv as he just reached down rather indifferently to the ball. It just took a bit of a hop. Just took the top of the thumb and straight into middle stump, and Desmond Haynes was nowhere near back in his ground and not even looking like he wanted to be back in his ground.
Wide of McDermott.
Gordon Greenwich looks as though he's in the frame of mind to get most of these runs himself and to do it as quickly as possible.
St John's Cathedral in St John's, Antigua. Chase for Merv at St John's Recreation Ground.
Richie Richardson, as we've discussed, is a very good leg side player. He's also very handy with the cut shot to give him room. No stutter in that run for Merv either.
Richie is less comfortable against spin than he is against pace bowling. But he has improved his play against spinners. Very good shot. The fine sweep. West Indies 1 for 90.
In Test matches in the West Indies before this innings had scored 2,581 runs at 60. So he's a very prolific scorer here.
And Greenwich is out. Just to make certain of it, David Boone has hit the stumps on the full. So the West Indies have lost 2 wickets this morning. Both of them run out.
It just shows you why, in the history of the game, very few sides have got 455 runs to win a Test match. Gordon Greenwich and Desmond Haynes were going along beautifully up until about 10 minutes ago. A very good bit of fielding there by David Boone. Diving, Gordon Greenwich thought it was past him. Richie Richardson wasn't sure. And Greenwich was stranded by a direct hit. The West Indies 2 for 92.
Hooper has come out to join Richie Richardson, and some excellent fielding by Australia. David Boone chasing hard, as the Australians have done all day. And Hooper back for the third. So a very entertaining session here, the first one at the recreation ground. West Indies making 98, but they lost 2 wickets in doing so. Both batsmen run out. 155 for victory. 155 for victory. That's up the hill towards mid-wicket. That brings up the 100 for West Indies. McDermott at deep backward square. No, he's not going to get that one. Extremely well timed. It's 2 for 108. That's the one that he loves. Two for 122, and the crowd also love it. West Indies 2 for 122 here at the St John's Recreation Ground. It's going to be Craig McDermott to continue to Richie Richardson. Almost off the toe of the bat, but they haven't got room to write all that in the scorecard. It just goes down as a 4.
Best spell of the day has come from Merv Hughes. Magnificent spell of bowling before lunch. 6 overs for 18. That's 4. Good shot. Nice stroke from Hooper.
Directly bisected the mid-off on the extra cover, found the gap nicely, came down, opened the face of the bat, didn't drive straight. A very innovative stroke there from Hooper.
And no need to change the field for the full toss on the leg stump. That is always likely to be put away. 2 for 136. Mark Waugh is the bowler. McDermott goes off now, having bowled 12 overs for 39 in all. It's remarkable the fielding has been as good as it is. Although the surface looks pretty good, it is very hard and slightly rough as well. There hasn't been any rain here for a long time. The quality of the fielding has been outstanding from both sides. That is a tremendous shot.
He really spotted that very early and really hammered it. Mark, of course, is medium pace, and Richardson really gave it everything. It's not a big ground, but that boundary over there is perhaps the biggest, and it went almost all the way into St. John's.
.50 partnership is up in 95 balls with that 6 off Mark Waugh. What a brilliant piece of work again. Another super catch by Jones. Hardly believable. Richie Richardson has hit that, I reckon, just about as hard as he hit the 6. But low to the ground and away to Dean Jones' left. Oh, that is a super catch. Marvellous piece of fielding. Vivian Richards is the new batsman, 3 for 142 with that marvellous catch by Dean Jones. The one in the first innings to get rid of Jeffrey Dujon, and that was a beautiful stroke, almost identical style catch. Now here's Mark Waugh, the partnership breaker. Vivian Richards playing his first ball of what could be his last innings on this ground. That's marvellous fielding. And the partnership breaker, Mark Waugh.
But just to keep him on his toes, Vivian Richards here in certainly what will be his last test on the ground. He's 39 now. The next test series in the West Indies is 1993 against Pakistan. There's no certainty that a test match will be played here during that series. Scheduled to be 3 tests.
So he's off the mark there with 2.
And that's another wicket to Alan Border. A very prized wicket of Vivian Richards. That puts Australia well on the road to victory. 4 for 145.
And this is Vivian Richards trying to hit one there to leg, flicking it, but not high enough. Straight to Murph Hughes, mid-wicket. So he's gone. And Australia just put the West Indies in a lot of problems here. The score, 4-1, 4-5.
Gus Logie is the new batsman coming out to replace his captain Vivian Richards, who fell victim to the Australian captain Alan Border.
Yes, this is a shortish ball for Alan Border. Viv trying to hit it towards mid-wicket, but straight to Terry Alderman, and he took a very easy catch. And the Australian players are delighted because the West Indies are now in dire straits.
Bit of turn there. Stick outside edge, landed short of Mark Taylor at slip. Gus Logie is off the mark as Jeffrey Marsh does the chasing. Gus Logie goes over the top. And it's 4 more runs. Brings up the West Indians 150. Now the sweep shot at this time. Craig McDermott will do the fielding.
Alan Border in test matches is bowling 125 tests, 37 wickets, 1,248 runs, averaging not very healthy, 33.72 per wicket, 5 wickets in innings twice, 10 wickets in a match once, 7 for 4 to 6 versus the West Indies being his best.
That's short, and Carl Hooper's gone over the top with that one. That'll be 6 as it's gone right over the top of the mid-wicket boundary.
Yes, this is another short ball here from Alan Border. Carl Hooper gets hold of it quite well. It's hit high over mid-wicket for 6.
Good piece of fielding, but it's got away. Peter Taylor there. 14 runs off that over from Alan Border, 4 for 159. It's a pretty ambitious shot, but I think it's an equally ambitious appeal. Gus Logie a long way down the wicket. Ball pitching round middle and off.
No, it sweeps there. It just hits the, I don't know if they're thinking that he hit it after it struck the pad, but they're appealing for a catch of the wicket. But it's a very dangerous stroke to play because that sweep shot, because he's bowling it into the rough. And if the ball bounces, he could be caught probably just behind square here or down the fine leg position. So it's not the most prudent shot to play at this stage.
He's had another go at it, this time with more success. It's the end of Alan Border's over. 4 for 163. Alan Border has seen fit to take himself out of the attack after 11 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 44. Since lunch, he has replaced himself at the southern end with Peter Taylor. Taylor has bowled the 5 overs only in this innings, none for 25. Border perhaps just needing a rest for a while, give the fingers a bit of a break. In fact, he had a chip in the left thumb, which is on his bowling hand, so his hand may well be a little bit tender. But again, a very good bowling spell from Alan Border. Merv Hughes unable to cover that one. Races away down to the boundary. A change of bowling at the northern end. Mark Waugh also being removed by Captain Border. After his success, Merv Hughes coming back. Merv bowled a very good spell. The early session, he was the best of the Australian bowlers before lunch, 8 overs for 18. So Mark Waugh and Alan Border, the two successful bowlers, they've both just been removed from the attack. Peter Taylor and Merv Hughes are back there. McDermott and Alderman, the other bowlers used. Dean Jones does the fielding. Mark Waugh was successful in his 5 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 8, which was just what his captain was looking for. Gave the main bowlers a bit of a spell. And had the added bonus of picking up a very important wicket. May well have been leg byes. No, it's 4 runs. Umpire Barker saying that one came from the bat.
So Taylor here just taking over from Alan Border. Well, they've served up a couple of full tosses to Carl Hooper, and he's put them away. That really was a liberal one. He's got him. That's a good catch. He tried to go over the top, Carl Hooper, and didn't quite make it. 5 for 182.
Mark Waugh, the best of the Australian pills, and he's very athletic and very safe. But once again, Carl Hooper getting out when he's going well, and he so often concedes his wicket, which I consider he did on that occasion. So it's now 5 for 182.
New batsman is Jeffrey Dujon, comes in at 5 for 182. Dismissal of Carl Hooper, gone yet again in the 30s. Having just hit a 4 off the full toss, went for another big one, and a good catch by Mark Waugh. His 10th catch of the series, Mark Waugh. So the end of the over, the first wicket there for Peter Taylor, 5 for 182. Well, he couldn't quite hold on. It really was hit very hard by Logie. And Big Merv just couldn't get the grip on it. So tea interval here on the 4th day of this, the 5th and final test at the Antigua Recreation Ground. And the West Indies 5 for 193.
In the centre, Jeffrey Dujon and Gus Logie. They're waiting for Craig McDermott. Dujon is taking strike. David Boone, the man at forward square, the one who brought off that wonderful piece of fielding today to get rid of Gordon Greenwich with the dive away to his right, gathering the ball and then the throwing down of the stumps at Ian Healy's end.
Oh, that's very close, and that's gone. It's a great delivery from Craig McDermott. Cutting back sharply from just outside off stump. Jeffrey Dujon well back on the stumps. Wasn't any hesitation from umpire Lloyd Barker. And that's the 6th wicket to fall in the West Indian second innings.
Not much doubt about that decision. Pitching just outside the off stump and coming back into Jeffrey Dujon. Hitting him plumb on the roll of the pad. No doubt about that. And a static Craig McDermott. West Indies lose their 6th wicket for 193 runs.
To the strains of the Calypso, the ship is sinking. The West Indies are now 6 for 193. New batsman, Malcolm Marshall. He's there to replace Jeffrey Dujon. There's the American flag. So someone just showing their impartiality. Just came here to watch some good cricket. The in-swing there, but Gus Logie timing that ball beautifully. The end of Terry Alderman's over, and 6 for 199, the West Indies. According to the scoreboard, we have 31 overs remaining in the day's play. Still quite a bit of time for the Australians to finish this test match off. They're finding the old ball swinging quite a bit against the shine, which is opposite to normal. Sometimes it's a bit more difficult to control. Even Ian Healy can't control that one. And that's 4 byes. That brings the West Indian 200 up. A bit cruel for Ian Healy.
That one really slipping away from Craig McDermott. Going a long way down the leg side.
The Australian supporters urging their team on. They'd like this game finished today. And so would Terry Alderman. That's up in the air, but it's over Peter Taylor's head. He won't be able to stop it going into the boundary. The Alderman's come in for a little bit of rough treatment during this game. Just copping a little bit more. He's got a short delivery, but Malcolm Marshall able to find the gap. A short gully in there, but he's evaded him. The 4 takes the West Indies along to 6 for 227.
That's gone for 4. It was very well bowled by Alderman, but no result except the 4 runs Greg Chapper was talking about. And it's now 6 for 231. Australian supporters have more to cheer about here than at any stage of the Barbados test, other than the first day when West Indies were bowled out for 149. Now Alan Border's brought himself back on out there. He picked up the 1 wicket, the vital wicket of Viv Richards. He has 1 for 45 in 12 overs. Left arm over the wicket and bowling to Michael Marshall. And although it was fairly short, it almost looked as though Marshall had made up his mind before it was bowled to give it a thrash.
Yes, this is more or less a long hop here, and he gets enough time to pull it, and pulls it well over mid-wicket for 4. I think Alan Border would probably bowl to the 75th over, and then probably take the new ball, because he would have a fresh McDermott and Terry Alderman.
guy in the red shirt's got another job to do. 6 this time.
Malcolm Marshall here has got a lot of time to hit that one, which is even shorter than the one before. And he's got enough time, and he hits it even further. Good pull shot there, hitting the scoreboard just under the drop, hitting just under the scoreboard for 6.
And up comes the half-century partnership very, very quickly. That's a super shot. He's hit it in front of square and got it right off the middle of the bat.
Yes, the short ball is pulled very, very well there by Malcolm Marshall. Pulled it down, rolled his wrist as he hit it, and raced past mid-wicket for 4.
It's in the air, and he's put it down, and that could be crucial. Hughes has drawn Marshall into the hook shot. David Boone has gone for it and put it down, and that is a killer for Merv Hughes. Well, both Boone and Taylor were going for it. It was Boone's catch. He settled for it in the end. Taylor pulled out of it. Boone got to it, but he was off balance and had it too low down.
Border has taken the new ball as soon as it becomes due. Umpire Bucknor has got it over from umpire Barker. And it is now being signaled. So as soon as it's become due, umpire Bucknor now makes the signal. The new ball taken. Merv Hughes will be given the new ball. Malcolm Marshall gets his 9th half-century in Test cricket.
Gravy, it's supposed to be a red carpet.
Could be the covers coming on. Happy Christmas. So Malcolm Marshall, 51, 9th Test 50, 61 deliveries. And that's a very quick rate of scoring, 2 6s and 5 4s. He's gone now, out for 51. Marshall leg before wicket. Merv Hughes gets his first deserving wicket of the day, and the West Indies are 7 for 271.
No doubt about that one at all. Absolutely plumb Malcolm Marshall, and umpire Barker has no hesitation at all.
6 for 271 becomes 7 for 271 here with the removal of Malcolm Marshall. Curtly Ambrose comes on now. He joins Gus Logie, who's on 42. Michael Holding comes into the commentary box with me. Good afternoon, Michael.
Good afternoon, Richie. West Indies losing their 7th wicket. Malcolm Marshall, very good half-century there. Curtly Ambrose, who made a very good half-century previously, to take over from him.
Well, that's 3 run-outs. Greenwich, Haynes, and now Ambrose. Logie strands Ambrose, undecided whether to take the single to get the strike. Have you ever seen such chaos, Michael?
I'm not too sure exactly what happened there, Richie. It seems a pretty simple single. Ambrose was on his way down the pitch. Logie took a few steps down as well, and then not too sure if Logie said no or not. There he goes. A long way away from his crease. West Indies lose their 8th wicket. 271 for 8.
Now then, Courtney Walsh takes the place of Curtly Ambrose. Merv Hughes is the bowler. It's 8 for 271. Oh, what a... Oh, dropped it. He had it. It jarred out, and he grabbed at it again and knocked it away. Mark Waugh.
Well, it's the first time I've seen a catch dropped on both the fielder and the bowler smiling, Richie. Well, it was a marvelous attempt. He had it for a fraction. There it is. There it goes. Not quite.
Didn't have control of it for the required amount of time. And that is out. No need to worry. No wonder Merv smiled. He knew it was only delayed action. And Australia 1 wicket away from what will be an excellent victory here in Antigua on this, the 4th day. That is 9 for 271.
And Patrick Patterson, the last batsman for the West Indies, comes to the crease.
It's over the top, and that's his 50.
And that's it, the half century for Gus Logie. That's what he was chasing after. The end of the over. West Indies now 9 for 281.
It's another shout, and he's given it, and that's the end of the Test match. Australia has won an historic victory here at the recreation ground at St John's, Antigua. The first time the West Indies have lost the Test match on this ground. Australia has won by 157 runs, so it's a very comprehensive victory for the Australians here. They lost the series in Barbados, but a 2-1 result is certainly more palatable to them. They've played some very positive cricket. They've deserved the result.
They had done it. A wonderful victory. A sign that while they were not quite world champions, they were still a force to be reckoned with. And Mark Waugh confirmed that the 90s will be his decade with a wonderful innings in Australia's first innings. Waugh finished up on top of the batting average with 61.17, and just to prove what a versatile cricketer he is, his name was on top of the bowling averages as well. With only 8 wickets, he didn't make anything like the contribution that Craig McDermott and Merv Hughes did, but with the other strike bowlers not featuring, Waugh's contribution was a good one. And the 7 wickets from Captain Alan Border were also invaluable. When you wrap up the series, a few things emerge. Undoubtedly, Australia got the rough end of the umpiring decisions. But Australia had problems of its own making. It needed another bowler to finish with around 20 wickets. Reid was the great hope, but failed to live up to expectations. Alderman didn't play in a test until Antigua. Many times, McDermott broke through the West Indies top order, but when he climbed.
The man of the series, Richie Richardson.
What do you think has been the most important part of the West Indies victory?
Well, I think it's the way that we stuck together, because at first I don't think maybe some of the spectators fully or collectively were behind us from the start, but gradually we got them back in there. What it took to convince them it's to win, and we have done that, but I hope that it doesn't take them this far. A message for the supporters, I hope, that they may support from ball one, not wait until we win a few and things like that to start coming and jumping on the bandwagon. I don't want these people behind my wagon at all.